our discussion about GED Math, I'm going to first look at the GED Math formula sheet. But I'm not going to take the formula sheet in order. In fact, when I expand the formula sheet and look at it, I'm actually going to begin on working problems related to the perimeter of a square, a rectangle, and a triangle. And by working in this fashion, we're going to, in a sense, begin with some of the easiest skills, master them, and move to more difficult skills. So when we consider the formula requirement of the perimeter to solve for the perimeter of a square, the formula sheet tells us that we simply, to solve for perimeter, take 4 times a side. Well, when we think about a square, we're thinking about something that's equal on all sides, and in this case I'm just going to arbitrarily assign a value of 5 inches to a side of my square, and by the very definition of square, that would mean that all of the other sides are also going to be 5 inches. Well, flipping back to the formula, what we see is that to solve the perimeter of a square, we take 4 times any one of the sides. Well, the perimeter is actually the distance around the square. So if I was to take, and this is my dog in here, my dog, I guess he's sleeping today. There's my dog. He's laying down and he's sleeping. And I needed to, I guess I'm not going to make a 5-inch dog run. It's a picture frame for a picture of my dog. And so I'm going to make it 5 inches on all sides. And so the wood around the perimeter is 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 inches. Or, looking back at the formula, what it calls for me to do is just to take 4 times side. So if I took 4 times 5, everybody would know that's going to equal 20. So P, or perimeter, would equal 20. Well, that's not a very complex problem. In fact, we could arrive at the solution for that problem by taking 4 5s and simply going 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, and when we're done adding all the 5s, we would have 20. So it doesn't matter if we take 4 times side or 5 times side. But here is the payoff to understanding the formula. Sometimes, this time I'm going to use feet, so I'm going to make my, this time I'll make a dog run, and it is going to be 10 feet on all sides, represented by the X there. So if it's 10 feet on the first side, it's in fact 10 feet on the second side, and it then, of course, is 10 feet on all of the other sides. Since this is such a fundamentally simple problem, the GED test makers are not going to let us off as easily as giving us a square and telling us that it is 10 feet on a side and solve for perimeter. We could easily deduce that that would in fact be 40 feet, but what they're going to do instead, and this is our first distinction that we're going to make, is they're going to represent a square. And when they want to have us solve a perimeter problem, the square is in fact hollow. If they want us to solve an area problem for the square, they're going to color the entire square in. Now, obviously, I'm not going to take the time to color the whole square in, but you get the idea. So since this is a hollow or a non-colored in square, they're simply wanting us to solve a problem involved with the perimeter of the square. The twist that they like to pull is they simply go 40 feet in the middle. it's not represented by the sides. They're in effect giving us the answer. And the question they're asking us is, what formula was used to arrive at this solution? So then along on our math test, they give us the formula sheet, and we simply move back to perimeter equals side times 4. And over here on the problem, one of the choices will say P equals side times 4. And this, in this case, is solution number 2. And so we would, on our bubble in sheet, we would bubble in 2 as being the correct answer. This seems like it's simple, but in the heat of battle, when you're taking the test, to simply see a number like 40 feet inside the box, it calls for you to make a reasoned judgment about what that number could be doing there, so you're not solving the math in a linear way, such as adding up the 4 sides or multiplying the 4 sides. You're forced to draw a conclusion about what this 40 means and reference it back to the formula sheet and find the correct answer. Well, that being said, let's move on.